Hey everyone, on this episode, we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day, what I love and don't love about it, how betrayal can impact a marriage, and 3 tips for ladies to take care of yourself if you find yourself in the middle of some marital conflict. Let's get into it. Hey you all, welcome to the first episode of the Recover Well show. I'm your host, Dr. Leslie Woke, and I am so excited to be here with you all. How was your Valentine's Day? What did you give? What did you receive? Who were you with today? How did you receive love on this special day? You know, I've been married for 10 years, and the longer we've been married, Valentine's Day becomes a lot more fun because there's less pressure of trying to impress each other. It's just more about, let's just have fun. You know, the kids are somewhere, let's just have fun. And that's what it was. So I hope you had fun today. But you know what though, on the other hand, there's a part of me that still wrestles with how I feel about Valentine's Day. Because I feel like Valentine's Day, it does this thing where it highlights in relationships where love or connection seems to be missing, right? So everywhere around you, you are surrounded with the teddy bears and the flowers and all the things. And it's like, oh, you know, give this gift. And you're like, well, my spouse didn't give me that gift. Do they love me? It has this way of bringing up where love seems to be lacking. And that can be hard, especially when you know it's lacking, right? So one of the things that has a way of making the love go sparse in a relationship, in a marriage especially, is something called betrayal. Now, we all have our own definitions of what betrayal is, but specifically I want to talk about something called betrayal trauma. So betrayal trauma is when someone who you've been in a close, intimate relationship with does something to betray your trust, takes something from you, does harm to you, but yet you still find yourself hooked onto them in the relationship, right? So that can be a parent hurting a child and the child staying with the parent because they need love and support. It can be in a marriage where your spouse does something harmful or hurtful to you. And I'm not talking about just stepping on your foot. I'm talking about, you know, something that was deeply emotionally wounding. And yet you have made a commitment and said, well, I want to stay in this marriage. I desire that love and that connection with them. Or maybe you have a family and you find yourself staying put because, well, I want our family unit to stay together. Studies have shown that when something deeply distressing happens in a relationship and you stay put, that even that staying put can cause a type of trauma, right? Because it's almost like it's going against the natural thing of what you might want to do. If someone hurts you and you naturally want to say, oh, let me pull away, that hurts, don't do that anymore. Or if someone offends you, stop offending me. Let me just kind of stay my distance from you. But it's difficult to do that in a marriage, especially when you're saying, well, I really do want the love to work out. I want this to work out. How can we make this work, right? So betrayal trauma is one where not only are you now being hurt based off what happened to you, but now you are wrestling with, I'm staying with someone who did this to me. How do I navigate this? What do I do? What do I do? So let me tell you a few things that you can do if you find yourself still in the thick of chaos and conflict and you are trying to heal what happened between the both of you. So here is tip number 1. In terms of recovering from betrayal in a marriage or a relationship, the first step, you have to allow yourself to see what you need to see. What I mean by that is this, is that sometimes in our desire to paint them as all good or to quickly move past the situation, we say, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe they didn't really mean it, even though they've done it for like 10, 20 times already. Maybe they didn't mean it, you know, maybe it was just, you know, whatever. And we find all of these excuses. And we say, well, I know that that's not how they are. And so we kind of paint or whitewash the issue away. And we then bury it inside of our hearts. But that's not allowing healing. You just allowed a tomb of the hurt and the pain, and it stays there unprocessed, unmitigated, just causing a ruckus in your heart internally, right? If we are going to be serious about recovering from traumas in our relationships, especially in our marriages or anyone that we're dating with, we have to allow ourselves to see what it is we need to see. What is it about that person that allowed them to do that? What is the character flaw that you need to see and accept and know how to work with or manage? What is it about the character flaws in yourself that makes you not want to see this thing in that person, right? So that's tip number one. Tip number two, I need you to do you, boo. That's tip number two, do you. One of the things that makes it really hard in conflict is that now you are dealing with what happened in the relationship, and then you find yourself acting out of your own character to deal with the situation. So you're typically a laid back, kind of jovial person, but because of this conflict, you find yourself like throwing them bows and throwing stuff and doing, just kind of speaking not like how you are, acting not like how you are, right? That's one of the things about anger. When we get anger, it is a red flag emotion. It makes us want to puff up to show that we are bigger than what this person did to us, and it makes us act outside of ourselves, or it makes us withdraw, isolate, and go small and just kind of numb because I don't want to deal with this thing. Either state is not who you are, and you know it. So it's like a double pain. You're hurting from what they did to you, and now you're hurting because you find yourself constantly acting in a way that is not you. So doing you says, if you are at baseline a jovial and calm person, then be jovial and calm. Now, that can be hard, especially when you're still in the middle of conflict and chaos in the house. But practically what it looks like is this. So let's say you and hubby get into it, you have an argument, it goes overnight, it goes into the next day, you guys go to work or you go on your separate Zoom meetings for work, whatever that looks like for you. And they come into your space and they don't acknowledge that you're there. The temptation is someone to be like, I know this man see me here. I know he didn't just walk in here and ignore me. I'm gonna count to 4 and see. Okay. So he still ignored me. Oh, okay. So we doing the, okay. Yep. So we doing the, right? So you take yourself to a place where it's like, we don't need to do that. Recovery is about, if at baseline you are calm, be calm. He ignored you. Mark the moment. See that it happened. Acknowledge that it happened. And then you choose for yourself and say, okay, tonight I am activating, I need calm, I need peace, I need quiet. So I'm going to be that. Not for him. This is for you. In order to recover, it's saying, for me, this is what I need. Is this thing easy? No. But it does require a great sense of commitment to you wanting to heal and restore yourself. And by doing that, you now restore the situation. So your husband comes, he ignores you, he does what he do. Doing you means, okay, well, I saw that you did that. Hey, I made dinner. You can help yourself. I made your plate, or I have the extra food on the stovetop. Feel free to help yourself. I'm going to be sitting here and drinking some wine. If you want, you can bring a glass. I'll pour you some. It's being you. It's playing music and saying, yeah, I want to light this candle. I want to listen to music, right? It's saying, well, I want to wear my fuzzy socks. And this is just kind of giving me what I need right now in the moment. The thing about this is if you are in a relationship with someone who is fundamentally good, like at their core, they are good, watching you give yourself something good unlocks the good in them, right? They're going to be like, shoot, I'm still mad, but I guess let me just sit on over here and just eat this food with this woman. Let me just sit on over here and just listen to this music with her. I mean, I do like that artist, shoot. And then when you're like, well, I'm gonna do me. I need to relax. So I'm gonna go take a long bubble bath. I'm gonna go, drink my wine in the bath, whatever that is. And they listen to you, outside the bathtub, and you're there just enjoying yourself. And they're like, dang, I want to take a bath too. It unlocks something in them. So that's my point. It unlocks something in them. Now, I do have to put a caveat because I know somebody's going to say, well, what if? So let me put my own what if. This situation that I'm talking about, this is not for someone who finds themselves in an abusive situation. This is not for someone who finds themselves in a situation where they are physically being tormented or harmed. It is not for that. What I'm talking about are two people who at their core find themselves, they know that they still love each other. They know that they still want to make this work, but you are in a gridlock and you do not know how to unbind this. Recovering from that betrayal, recovering from that betrayal trauma starts with you seeing what you need to see and doing you, getting back to the baseline of who you authentically are. So tip number 3, it's kind of like the second one, give to yourself. What is it that you need, right? Emotional conflict is like this. It is very similar to being in a fist fight with someone. If you were in a fist fight, like you guys are like throwing them bows and you get hit, you get knocked and ooh, what would you do to kind of restore afterward? You would hobble off somewhere, go get some ice packs and put some grease under your eyes or whatever it is to restore yourself. It's the same thing when it comes to emotional conflict. It's the same thing when it comes to conflict in our love relationships. Go back and tend to your wounds. If that means that you need to not cook for a week, don't cook for a week. Maybe that means that you pre-order all of your meals with Uber, DoorDash, whatever it is that you use to bring food. You pre-order all of them because you're like, I need to restore what just happened. Maybe it means I just need to be in bed right now, so I'm going to make sure that I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. Whatever happens in this living room, y'all take care of yourselves, but me, myself, and I'm going to bed, right? Maybe it means that you really need some girl time and you are adamant about scheduling it and making sure that it happens. Whatever that looks like, give yourself what you need in the middle of a conflict. We often act like, well, I'm gonna just ignore it and just kind of keep it pushing. But it's like, those things leave a mark. It has a residue. But we can deal with the residue. It doesn't have to clog up and, cause issues. We can deal with it. So those are the 3 tips. See what you need to see. Do you, boo. Be who you need to be. And the last thing, give to yourself. On this Valentine's Day, I hope it was special, but if it wasn't, I hope these 3 tips can be helpful as you navigate this rough patch and this transition in your relationship. If you're committed to working things out, then my love and my faith is with you. Keep working it out. But I implore you, take care of yourself in the process. Because at the end of the day, when things do work out, you want to have your whole heart intact when things are resolved. So thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode of the Recover Well Show. Tune in weekly where I will have a webisode available for you to watch either on IGTV or on YouTube. And also if you have a friend who you know is going through a situation that is a difficult trauma or a transition and you want to help her reclaim her power and position, go ahead and send her this show and have her subscribe. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Enjoy the rest of your evening and